Stay on with us, Madhav and Bhavtosh. We also have Mr. Rajagopalan and Mr. Shyamprasad Beka also joining us here on the broadcast. Good afternoon to both of you. Rajagopalan sir, what is the said agenda that the Union Minister seems to be talking about now? Because here is the BBC itself admitting that they were not following the laws of the land.
You are asking me, Amrita?
Yes, sir.
Now the BBC fraud has been exposed. Tax liability of 40 crores. They are ready to, they admitted that there was a fraud. BBC committed a fraud on the Indian tax system. And for the past 70 years, the Congress party, especially Dr. Manmohan Singh, P. Chidambaram, Pranab Mukherjee, have been helping BBC to take away the 40 crores. At least Mr. Narendra Modi got that 40 crores back to Indian kitty. Apart from that, Indian law system is supreme. And they have to bow down before the Indian law system. At least they accepted it. First they said there is a, first admission itself, yes, there was some fraud committed by BBC. Second thing, opposition was helping BBC to get away with the tax liability. Now opposition should also be fined because the 40 crores has come back to Indian kitty. Now they say freedom of press. Where is the freedom of press? The left liberals, so-called left liberals, they vomit out their internal animosity against Narendra Modi. They are unhappy with Narendra Modi continuing, and third time if he comes back, what will these two, the liberals and BBC do? They may commit suicide like that. My understanding is BBC has been taught a lesson. It is a tight slap on Indian opposition.
Okay, Mr. Rajagopalan, let's take a response from Mr. Meka on that. Mr. Meka, Congress party along with other opposition parties attacked the government over the income tax survey. Now BBC itself is admitting to underreporting of its income in India.
See, did Congress party or me or any of my colleagues from Congress party, did they say BBC should not pay the tax? What kind of a narrative is this? Well, Congress party is in general is talking about the press freedom issues and the general atmosphere.
But this is about the tax issue. Has nothing to do with press freedom.
At the time, Mr. Meka, the various parties had said that this is some kind of vindictive action, Mr. Meka. No, Mr. Meka, please let's be very clear. At that point of time, many political parties, including the Congress party, are on record to say that this is vindictive action on the BBC for producing the documentary. What happens to that position now?
No, it seems so certainly at that time, right? The timing of it.
Yeah, so so those who have made that particular statement, should they not withdraw that statement now, Mr. Meka? Or should they not apologize? Of course.
At that point of time that happened, now this...
that happened, so that means that, but that statement was, obviously that statement did not have any truth in it. Because if BBC itself is admitting that there is some kind of tax liability,
there is a saying, right?
then that has to at some level, sir,
that's how it should
that has to be kept in mind. Perhaps opposition parties jumped the gun. Would you now admit, Mr. Meka?
No, why? Where is the question of jumping the gun?
Naturally, without knowing the tax liability, if there were comments being made, then certainly questions would be raised.
See, perceptions will be formed based on publicly available information.
Okay. Mr. Rajgopal, please respond to that. At that point of time, opposition parties responded on the basis of publicly available information. There's no question of any wrong statement being given. What would you like to say to Mr. Meka? Mr. Rajgopal, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yes,
so, Mr. Meka says that public opinion on the basis of that publicly available information, opinion is given out by opposition parties. In this case, with opposition parties having taken one position in February, and now, of course, with BBC admitting itself that there is some amount of liability as per sources in the government, what would you say, is the position of these opposition parties? Is it really tenable at all?
Opposition has been, cheating the Indian public, especially like Karnataka today. See what happened. Today they say electricity bill. Like that, Congress is doing a mass fraud on the people.
Correct.
Opposition party, I did not speak in between you. I did not speak in between you. I did not speak in between you. They have a decency, courtesy. Don't behave like congressman.
I'm a congressman, don't worry about that.
No, you are not a congressman. You are a BJP
anyway,
man.
When it comes to the Union Ministers who have been now reacting, we'll also talk about the politics of convenience, isn't it, Mr. Meka? Because this is something as far as the blind support that has been given to the BBC. Here the BJP today is now claiming vindication. Let's play out another reaction coming in from another Union Minister.
वो तो हमारी बात सही थी, उसको वो साबिती अब उसको समर्थन दे रहे हैं। पहले हमारे सामने वो एलिगेशन था कि हम पार्शल कुछ कर रहे हैं, अब उसको पता चला कि मोदी सरकार में किसी के प्रति पार्शलिटी नहीं होती है, न्याय के पक्ष में हर कार्यवाही होती है। इसका ये समर्थन करने वाला किस्सा है।
All right, let's go back to Mr. Meka. Mr. Meka, you said very conveniently the timing was suspicious. It was all based on what the public opinion was. A very simple question is, shouldn't those statements be withdrawn now that BBC has admitted under-reporting of income?
See, BBC, if they have agreed for under-reporting of income, let the tax authorities do their job.
Wasn't the income tax department doing exactly that?
Correct. So why should a Congress party or any other political party have a stand on such a routine matter?
Because the Congress party immediately took a stand when the BBC documentary was released, when the BBC documentary was actually banned, and when the surveys were taking place. It was the Congress party and other opposition parties who were crying foul and calling it vendetta and press freedom being slashed. This is something that is that the Congress party, do you believe, needs to change its stand?
That is what is questioned. When the banning of the documentary is a press freedom issue.
Why was it linked to the tax survey, sir?
Why are you mixing the ban of the documentary with the tax issue?
Who mixed it?
Issues,
Who mixed it? Who mixed it?
You are mixing it.
Come on, sir. It was something that the Congress party and other opposition parties were quick to jump the gun and then call it that this is vendetta because action is now being taken against the BBC Madhav just because the documentary was banned. I mean, this is politics of convenience, isn't it?
We will have to actually, pull out those statements that have been made by various political leaders at that point of time to refresh Mr. Meka's memory, because clearly he does not seem to remember the position that has been taken. I think we just saw Akhilesh Yadav's statement there, referring to emergency, so on and so forth. Various political parties had come out to then raise questions about the action and whether there was some kind of, some kind of motive behind this particular action on part of the IT department. In fact, let's also quickly tell our viewers what the IT department itself had said. They had said that the survey operations have also revealed the services of seconded employees which have been utilized, for which reimbursement has been made by the Indian entity to the foreign entity concerned. Such remittance was also liable to be subject to withholding tax, which has not been done. They had also said that during the course of the survey, the department gathered several evidences pertaining to the operation of the organization which indicate the tax has not been paid on certain remittances which have not been disclosed as income in India by the foreign entities of the group. There's also a separate FEMA case that is being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate over and above what has been done by the IT department. But the larger question is this, that tax issues and what is within the realm of the violations as far as tax are concerned, and Bhavtosh can throw more light on that. Bhavtosh, this comes under the category of a civil offence and not so much in terms of the criminal liability. However, in the case of the FEMA matter, there could be a different liability as far as BBC is concerned. What are your sources telling you about that investigation as well?
Well, as far as the FEMA probe is concerned, that's being carried out by the Enforcement Directorate, and it also started virtually at the same time when the income tax probe happened, though ED said that it has nothing to do with the income tax investigation. It's a separate probe. But what we had gathered at that point of time was the very fact that it is to do with the foreign investment that was made in the BBC India, and that probe involved also recording of the statement and examination of BBC India staffers. Right. And they also at that point of time said that they are cooperating with the investigating agency, but any violation of FEMA can lead to stiff penalties, and it can go up to 3.5 times of the violation. Now that means a very stiff penalties can be
as far as
imposed
the political
by the
aspect is concerned, now because we're getting back-to-back reactions, we're shifting our focus on that. After Udit Raj